All right, so here's my impromptu Rattlegram video, and the reason I'm making this is because I haven't found anyone who's using it, and I'd really like to try this out on 10 meters to see how it does with weak signal and with background noise. This is intended for HT to HT on UHF and VHF. That was the case that they figured it was most useful for. The idea is to send text messages from your phone through your radio and then have those received by another radio and picked up by the phone. There's no wiring involved necessarily in this. What happens is basically you have your radio listening, and your phone will also be listening, and when the Rattlegram tone comes out of the radio, the phone will transcribe whatever's coming out of there. They don't have to be connected, and that's why the case used for this was, well, HT to HT, because if you have your radio, you probably have your phone, but wires are not required like you would need for APRS. Now this radio, which is going to be my transmit radio, is wired. And the reason it's wired is because otherwise this phone and this phone will just talk to each other using their own audio in and out, and the radios wouldn't be involved at all. And so what happens is when I send the message from this radio, it will go into the input of this radio and be transmitted. This radio is going to receive it. It's not connected to anything, and the phone app is just listening for that particular sound. Now keep in mind that without wires, this has to be very robust in knowing what it's hearing. So if there's background noise, Rattlegram is designed to work around that, which is why I want to try it out on HF, because the nature of it means it should be very robust. It's designed to filter out unwanted noise and get the signal through. But again, remember, this wire is not necessary. It's just that these radios are in the same room. I have to be able to isolate them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull up my latest message. I put in here, this says YouTube test is the message. And I'm going to send that message, which is going to go audio into the radio. And you're going to hear that audio come out of this radio and be picked up by this listening phone. And then over here we have it. There it is. YouTube test is the message. And I could send it back the same way. Now, what's important about this, and I think that it surprised me the most about this, and this is an intention of the design, is that notice I was able to do this with Vox. So the designers of Rattlegram have built this in. There must be a preliminary tone that's being sent to open up the squelch, open up the Vox, because the fact that the Vox is a bit slow on the quenching has really no effect whatsoever. And that's by design, which is why I think this is a very powerful HF tool for very simple text messaging. No special software, no computer connection. You can just hold your phone up to your HF microphone and send. And I'm looking for people who want to help test that with me. Maybe make a meetup through Facebook that we can test it out. I'm in the Pennsylvania area. You'd have to probably be several hundred miles away for me to do this over 10 meters because of the dead zone that I have in between the way my antenna is set up. But I'd like to give it a try, and this is sort of my evangelism video because I think this is probably the coolest thing I've seen come around in ham radio in decades. Rattlegram is still in its infancy. It hasn't been released officially. This is sort of the beta version. When it's released, it will be called Ribbit, like frog. I don't know how frog and snake have anything to do with each other, but right now it's in the App Store. Its logo is a snake. It looks sort of like the Python programming logo. So download Rattlegram, play with it, and let me know if you want to give it a shot over HF. It can be used anywhere that data is allowed on HF. It's relatively narrow bandwidth, so there's no reason you can't use it. This is my video channel on YouTube. I also have some videos for people who want to take the technician exam. I'm going through every question of the tech exam, one video at a time, so that people can learn the tech without having to do anything but watch videos. I also have a couple other connectivity videos on there. I used a similar setup with Zello to link Muir's radios together. The reason I did it with Muir's is because data is allowed over Muir's. Since I made that video, you can do it on MRS. And of course, you can send data over amateur radio as well. So I hope this is helpful. Try Rattlegram if you haven't. It is the coolest thing that I have seen in a long time. 7.3.